This video will demonstrate creating a master board file using the Allegro PCB Editor. If you have the same basic board used many times, it's probably a good idea to build a master design file as a starting point. This master design file will have items like the board outline placed, cross-section defined, some design rules set, maybe even some common components such as connectors already placed. Then this master design file can be used as a starting point over and over again. If you use this method, you probably will save yourself time and also ensure the accuracy of all your designs. So the first thing we're going to have to do with the Allegro PCB Editor up and running is create a new design. So we'll hit the new icon. We're going to board type. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to use something like 6-layer because this will be a 6-layer board, underscore outline, because it's going to use that board outline as my starting point. So looking at this name, I can have kind of a good understanding of something about the board, how many layers it is, what board geometry it's using, things like that. So hit OK. So as always, whenever we start a new design or a new database, we should always check our design parameters, quick utilities with the right mouse button, design parameters. Go to our design tab, and let's check our size first. My user units will be mils. Actually, C is probably good because it's going to have a B-size format. So if I use a C-size drawing, I can get the B-size in there, no problem. And my accuracy is going to be 2. My drawing extents, again, I want my left X and lower Y to be in the negative direction. So when I place my board outline at 0, 0, the origin of that board will be at 0, 0, but I'll still be able to put some information in the negative quadrants. So those parameters look pretty good. I'm going to select OK. So the first thing we're probably going to do is place our outline. So we're going to use the place manually command. Now remember, whenever you want to place items out of your library, make sure you come to the advanced settings and turn library on. So we're going to place our outline. That's going to be a mechanical symbol. So here's all the mechanical symbols available to me. Remember, I wanted one called outline. I'll select over here. Again, select in the little checkbox, not on the name. Another good thing is if you see in the graphics here a representation of that, that means I was able to find that. So let's do a hide. That's attached to my cursor. Since this is my origin of my board, I want that to go to the origin of my drawing, I'm going to go to the command line and type X for an absolute coordinate of 0, 0. So X space 0 space 0, enter key, and that places my board outline at the origin. Now we might want to place some other things in here. So let's go back to our place manually command, do a right mouse button, show. Now this hide button getting pushed all the time is going to be somewhat cumbersome. So I'm going to go to my advanced settings and turn on auto hide. So every time I come into this and pick something, I will automatically hide that. Okay, so we might want to add in some format symbols, like my B-size drawing. There's a B-sized. As soon as I move my mouse over here, that screen will go away. I'll just place this down here someplace. I might have some assembly notes I'm going to put on there that are common. All right, I could also put down some connectors. So I'm going to go and into my package symbols. I know my first connector I'm going to put down starts with the string DIN, DIN, so I'll do DIN star in my match field. There's a DIN 64, that's the one I wanted. That's got some predefined coordinates, so I want to put that at minus 700, 500 is what I was given. If I do the command correctly, it would be X of minus 700, 500. Now I also want to put some BNC connectors. I got a couple of these I want to put down, so I'm going to go to my advanced settings and disable auto next, so it will let me keep on placing multiple symbols over and over again. So BNC is the connector I want. One of those goes at the following, X of 3700, 300. Now since I turned that auto next off, I still have the next symbol available to me. 3700, 1100. All right. So now I have all my parts placed that I know about with this outline over and over again. So I've already got a good starting point. I got my format down. I got maybe some notes. Next, I'm going to define my layer stack up. I'll use the cross-section icon. It starts with a 2-layer board. Every time you do a new design, it will always give you 2 layers. I'm going to right-click on the dielectric layer, name, add layers. I want 2 layers. These are going to be planes. I'm going to say add, exit. I'm going to change the names. I'll double-click on that, GND. This one I'm going to right-click on that layer name and say rename, call that VCC. Either one of those ways can work. Doesn't make any difference which one you use. I'm going to add 2 more routing layers in between here. I'm going to right-click on the ground layer and say Add Layers. I'm going to route 2 layers. I'm going to give them a common prefix. I want them to be below the ground plane. I want them to be conductor layers. All right, so now I have my stack up. I have 6 layers, top and bottom, 2 plane layers, 2 routing layers. Optionally, what I could also do is I could go into my physical section over here. If I double click on this, they will expand and contract. I can set like my voltage layer to be a negative artwork if I wanted to. Not required, but you can do that. All right, so I have 6 layers down at the bottom, 4 conductors and 2 planes. Now that I have my layer stack up, I could also go through and start creating some of my design rules. I can't necessarily do all of them because I don't have my netlist in, but I could start doing certainly easier things like my default layers. So I'm going to go into the constraint manager in the physical. If I expand my default physical constraint set, there's my conductor layers, my plane layers. Actually, I just want to make everything 6. So I'm going to type 6 there as my min and max line width. Also 6 is my neck width. I could also go into my spacing rules if I wanted to and start setting some of my spacing values. This concludes the demonstration on creating a master board design file using the Allegro PCB Editor.